Well, joining us to discuss the current situation and Israel's delicate balancing act of pursuing a hostage deal with all its might, while also acting as needed in Syria and beyond, is Clifford May, the founder and president of the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Cliff, it's a pleasure to have you with us today. I'd like to start by getting your take on the progress towards a hostage deal. I mean, we've heard a lot of back and forth. What are your thoughts on the likelihood of us being able to reach an agreement, and who do we anticipate could even be released based on the early speculations?
Look, I'm hopeful because I know how emotional and important this issue is inside Israel's society. I have to say, I have always been and continue to be skeptical that Hamas will make any kind of a deal, that it will give up what it sees as its most important cards in this deal. They might be willing to dribble out a few. When you're talking to Hamas, which, as you know, is an openly and determinedly genocidal organization, I think it's like, negotiating with the Nazis. And I suppose there may be at this point, some reason for them to say, okay, we need to stay alive. We need to see if we can get the Israelis out of Gaza so that we can resume power there. If we have to give up a few of those who are hostages that are still alive, we'll do it. So listen, be hopeful, but I'm just always very skeptical when you're negotiating with organizations such as Hamas.
Obviously, very hard to predict their actions beyond anything genocidal, I suppose. Moving on to Syria and the northern border, can you break down for us why Israeli control of Mount Hermon is so critical? Is Israel's current position enough to prevent chaos ensuing throughout Syria, whether through Turkey or Qatar, there's already discussion of, or perhaps even the Islamic regime's, re-emergence in Syria?
Mount Hermon is the high ground, literally and figuratively. It has strategic value. High ground still does, despite all the technology we have. The Israelis also, of course, have taken the demilitarized zone with Syria, from which they had any Syrian soldiers long ago left. I think that's absolutely justifiable. I think it would make sense for Netanyahu to say, look, there may come a time when there is a regime in Syria who wants to negotiate with us, and we're always willing to negotiate with our neighbors. Maybe Mount Hermon, maybe more of the Golan Heights. I don't think most of it should ever go to Syria. I think it's Israeli territory. It's been recognized by the U.S. as Israeli territory. It's strategically important. It's very much part. The populations up there, including the Druze, they do not want to be part of Syria. But look, if there's a Syrian regime that joins the Abraham Accords, I think anything can be discussed. But I don't expect to see that anytime soon.
Now, in terms of the Islamic regime, they've suffered a crushing blow in Syria. What can we expect to see them do next? Do you believe that they're going to invest further in their allies, perhaps in Venezuela, to combat a new Trump administration? Or are we going to see them backing down with the onset of a second term of Trump?
Here's what I fear. At this point, the Supreme Leader, Ali Khamenei, has lost most of his ring of fire around Israel. It's down to embers. Hezbollah is incapacitated. Hamas has been largely defeated. Syria has been demilitarized. Iran is now vulnerable without missile defenses. So if I'm Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, what am I saying? I'm probably saying, where the hell are my nuclear weapons? Why haven't the warheads been fitted on our missiles? So I think there's an opportunity now going forward for Israel, better for the U.S. or some cooperation, to seriously set back, if not totally destroy, the ability of the Islamic Republic of Iran to make and deliver nuclear weapons to targets anywhere in the world using intercontinental ballistic missiles. That should happen. I do not think it's going to happen while Biden is president. I think there is a possibility for some real progress on that, which would be good for the region, good for the world. This regime should not have nuclear weapons. I think there's a possibility for something to happen in the new Trump administration.
All right, well, we are out of time, but thank you, Clifford May from the Foundation for Defense of Democracies.
Thank you, Emily.